Right, we're going to talk about the top 10 things that I wish I knew before I bought a Chinese e-bike. And the last one's probably going to surprise you. In at 10 is reviews. Don't trust reviews. You'll see reviews on Trustpilot. You'll see reviews that are selected reviews that are put onto e-bike manufacturers' websites. Especially Engwe, you can't put a 1-star review on Engwe. I tried. I think I've got an image of it there. Have a look at Trustpilot's reviews for Engwe. And I know for a fact that they were offering people €10 or £10 off for a good review when they were selling the Engwe Engine Pro, because I got an email through. But I can't find the email, but I know others have had it. So have a look at the Trustpilot reviews and then select 1-star reviews. And this goes for all the e-bike manufacturers. This goes for Engwe, Cyrusher, Lankeleisi, Himiway, what's the other one? Fiido. You'll see the real reviews in the 1-star reviews, because people very rarely go out there. It's like trying to get people to subscribe for this channel. You've literally got to go around their house and get them to go give them a good incentive. The real reviews aren't fake. The real reviews can be fake, and there's a lot of them on the Engwe Trustpilot reviews and on their own site. You can tell they've been written in pidgin English, and they're very generic. But if you have a look at the bad reviews, you'll see the real thing going on with all these e-bike companies, where they try and outpost the bad reviews with 5-star reviews. And like I said, the majority of those are probably fake. People don't go out of their way to leave a good review free of charge. It's as simple as that. So don't believe the reviews. Only buy from trusted, official e-bike sellers. So if you're going to buy from Engwe, make sure it's the proper Engwe site. If you're going to buy from Cyrusher, make sure it's the official Cyrusher site. I think Engwe has a list of fake sites on theirs. So you want to be very careful where you're ordering it from. You might see a page where it's ebikespecialoffers.com and they're selling the bike at like 20% less. That should set alarm bells ringing. They're actually produced even on the Engwe sites at micro margins, so even though they can't give those discounts, and they wouldn't. So be very careful where you buy your e-bike from. So next up, influencer reviews. Don't trust them. They're paid to give these reviews, and if they're paid to give these reviews, they're going to give a good review. They get free bikes, they get a commission on each of the bikes that they sell after through affiliate links. And what you have to remember is they've only used this bike for a day, maybe 2 days. It's not a trusted review. None of them are. You don't know what the outcome of some of these bikes is going to be over a long-term review. Again, I'll go back to the Engwe Engine Pro debacle, where everything was fine and groovy, and then frames started snapping and goosenecks started snapping, and they're not going to find that out in the initial review. last night I was watching a review by Tail Happy TV for the Anioki 52 volt 60 ampere bike, and he took it out, and it's the third one he's reviewed, and twice he's had issues with the bike, and he's an influencer. So I wouldn't really trust any of the influencers out there. I have a few that I follow that I like their reviews, but I wouldn't trust any of them. And they don't care about you. They're just there trying to make a dinner. Don't trust the reviews. Up next is, as a rule of thumb, if you see an e-bike that weighs over 30 kilos and it's got mechanical brakes, give it a miss. You can swap them out for hydraulic if you want, but here's the thing. They're skimping on brakes. What else have they skimped on? And you'll normally find that the motor is non-generic, sort of wherever you bought this from. In the case of Engwe, the motors are Suto motors, which are a lower end subsidiary of Bafang. So as a rule of thumb, try and avoid bikes with really cheap parts on. Don't go mental and buy anything from Cyrusher, because they charge double what most e-bike companies are charging for their e-bikes, and you're still getting the same rubbish support. If you buy a Chinese e-bike and it's giving you all the promises in the world about warranty and, you know, 1 year warranty, fully sort of honoured, don't expect it to be honoured. Virtually every Chinese e-bike company out there, it's very hit and miss. Engwe's very hit and miss. Cyrusher's diabolical. You look at Fiido and Fiido, or whatever it is, Lankeleisi and Himiway, you'll see all the same things about people crying out for help and getting them, sending messages and still not. It's a 5-day wait for a return message. It's broken English. Don't expect much from the warranties. They mean nothing. They're not worth the internet space that they're written on. So Chinese e-bikes, warranties, they're a joke. Next up, don't be scared to buy from AliExpress. I've had some very good experiences of stuff that I bought from AliExpress, from batteries to bike frames to brakes, hydraulic brakes, tyres, wheels. I've had a really good experience, and most of the people I know that have bought an e-bike off of AliExpress have had a good experience. The warranty's a bit iffy, but here's the thing. You'll pay a premium to buy an Engwe or a Cyrusher or one of the other bikes to find out that you've got no warranty anyway. So you're more likely to get warranty from AliExpress, because the feedback on AliExpress is important to keep their channels going, their shops going. Like I said, I bought many a battery, bought frame, I bought brakes, tyres, everything, and I've never had a bad experience with AliExpress. Well, just have a look at the reviews on each thing you buy. If it's got 500 reviews on it and most of them are good, you're never going to get it right all the time, but they're pretty good at AliExpress shops. And like I said, I've never had an issue with them, so don't be scared to buy from AliExpress. Next up, we're looking at used e-bikes. So if you buy a used e-bike, even if it's a few weeks old, the warranty is voided. And this is pretty much the same across the board with all Chinese e-bike companies. They will not honour a warranty on a transferred bike. I think a lot of them say this in their small print. So just be very aware. But there's some bargains out there. So if you do buy one, like I bought the Cyrusher Ovia on the cheap, I couldn't get any support from them anyway. But in less than 300 miles, my motor failed, and that's a Bafang motor. My mid-shock failed, so I had to replace that. It's all reasonably easy job. So there is some value in buying used, but like I said, do not expect any warranty to be honoured. I mean, they don't honour their warranties anyway, but especially with bikes that have been sort of bought used. People selling on Facebook groups. Alarm bells should be ringing as soon as you see somebody put an add-on for parts for your bike or bikes, and then every message you see is PM me. This is a scam. They're nearly always a scam. If you want to be safe for buying used bits for your bikes, buy them off eBay or Facebook Marketplace and go and pick them up. Do not expect somebody to be delivering from Germany a part that's cost you only €60 and would have cost you 200 elsewhere. Don't trust any of these sales on. I don't have them on my Facebook pages. I'll sell stuff on there because I know who I am and I can trust me, and most of my followers trust me. But I do not allow sales of any kind on my Facebook pages. Here's a biggie. Learn to do your own repairs. The problem with these Chinese e-bikes is any decent bike repair shop will not do any repairs on these because they're not insured because of the batteries. They tend to stay away from it anyway because they normally find the job's bigger than they thought it was and the customer doesn't want to pay. This is why you can't find an e-bike repair shop within 100 miles of you. There's a few in the UK, but ultimately they don't want to touch them. So this brings me to the next thing, is learn to do your own repairs. There's stuff on my Facebook page, there's stuff on my YouTube channel that you can scan through, and I'll be putting more on about the repair side of it as I go down. So it's worth subscribing just for that, because next week I'll be removing my back wheel, which is one of the things that most people don't want to touch, and attach the back wheel, the back electric motor, and then they're worried about damaging the lead or the connection while they're changing a tyre around or changing an inner tube round, and or putting Tannis armour in, which I'll be doing again next week. So learn to do repairs. YouTube is your friend. There's loads and loads of videos that do different things, and none of it's difficult. None of it's sort of rocket science. And if the worst comes to the worst, you can pretty much swap out your whole electrical system, from the motor through to the controller, through to the display and everything else, for about 400 quid. So if your frame snaps, buy another frame. Put all that stuff into another frame. I quite like the Fakari frames, or Fakare. You can buy the frames from AliExpress. I personally have a UDX frame 204 that I'm going to be building over the summer, finally. And yeah, don't be scared to attempt stuff yourself, because you're not going to be able to find anybody to repair your e-bike for you. So like I said, learning to do it yourself, reap the benefits. This brings me on to the final bit that's probably going to surprise you, but building your own e-bike isn't rocket science. And there's a lot of kits out there that can help you convert a bike. Or you can buy, like I did, a Bafang BBS HD mid-drive. Attach that to your bike. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward, and there's loads of videos online that show you how to do it. And it's the same with most of these Chinese e-bike companies. Some of the frames are good. The Cyrusher frame I've got is probably the best part of the bike, but you're paying a premium for that. I mean, I think the Ovia stands at around about £2,500 for the bike. It's not worth that. It's twice the price of an Engwe Engine Pro, near enough. So, or 2.0. So you have to look for value for money, and most of the time you'll find this on AliExpress. You can buy parts on AliExpress, you can buy an e-bike frame, you can buy all the parts you need to build the bike, and all the instructions of how to do it you'll find on YouTube. And it's my best advice to anybody, if you're delving into the world of e-bikes, I always say buy one, build one. So you buy one, you mod it, you get comfortable with it, you learn to repair it, and then you build your own. And I'm going to go by my own advice, and like I say, this summer I'm going to be building my own e-bike. And like I said, it's not rocket science. If a monkey can do it like me, pretty much most of you out there can do it. And that's where I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave you with all these things I wish I'd have known before buying a Chinese e-bike. You don't have the main problems that you do with Specialized or Trek or anything else. They've got a reputation to uphold. But what you have to look at these Chinese e-bike companies are, they're basically Chinese smash and grab economics. And they just want your money. And after that, once they've got your money, they don't care about you. That's a big goodbye. Your money's gone. You've got your bike. You're on your own. And this goes back again to, they can't support financially an e-bike that goes wrong in the UK, because the cost is astronomical to them. They'd lose the profit on each one that they sell. And with 1 in 10 bikes probably having an issue, you can imagine that digs into the profits. People seem to think that these Chinese e-bike companies, especially Engwe, are making major money on each bike that they sell, but they're not. It's microeconomics, it's micro profits. So where they're sort of selling a bike at, let's take the Engine Pro again as an example. It's about £12.99, the new one. It's got reasonably good parts on it. Don't trust the frame, but it's got reasonably good parts on it. But if anything goes wrong, the motor goes wrong, the battery goes wrong, they're wiped out profit-wise. So if that's 1 in 10 bikes, it pretty much is probably the standard for what goes wrong with these e-bikes. That's 10% of their profit gone. So they won't support it, or they don't support it, or they make it difficult for you to get any help whatsoever, any support whatsoever. And people tell me, oh, they're making loads of money. They're not. When you break down the parts, and then the shipping, and then the delivery, and the insurance for that. It all adds up. I'd be very surprised if they're making anything over £300 on, say, a £1,300 e-bike. And what you have to expect is that level of support, which is pretty much non-existent. It's very hit and miss. I know people have had batteries, I know people have had replacement motors, but they can't fit them themselves. I mean, recently, one of my followers was telling me Lankeleisi are asking them to test the batteries themselves and stick screwdrivers into the BMS and everything else. It's something I wouldn't trust anybody to do, especially if you don't know about e-bike battery chemistry. You really don't want to be touching that. It's not your problem. The problem sits with the manufacturer. And within that, you're going to find yourself in hot water if you are messing about with your battery and it catches fire. That's it. My next video that's coming up next week will be about alternative e-bike law in the UK. And the one after that, I'm going to be taking my back wheel and front wheel off and swapping my tyres around to Kenda Craze tyres for the summer, and which I'll be putting brand new Tannis armour in. So expect a lot of swearing during that video, because it's not much fun. Have a nice day, everyone.
The fork's actually bent then when I put it back down. Let's do a little side hop landing off this little stump here, look. Oh, big chunk out my arm. Oh, that's what you get for playing with fire.